The following podcast contains mature subject matter, adult themes, and may also contain profanity. You have been warned.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and thank you for coming into The Absurd. On this podcast, we discuss things that are absurd news, and absurd histories and mysteries, and just strange things going on. Well, some of our stories are quite freaky, sometimes even frightening, and quite occasionally funny. My partner, Mel, is presently fanning herself with my booklet of Harvey's hamburgers coupons.
It's really warm in here.
I know it is, dude. Yeah.
You have to turn the air conditioner off when we record, otherwise it'll create too much feedback. So
Mike's picking up. It'd be a low hum in the background, beyond the normal low hum that Mel makes. And her,
you'll just hear the fanning sound.
Yeah. And the squelching noise her phone just made.
Yeah, I did. I forgot to turn that.
That's okay. Everybody forgives you, I think.
It's off.
Hey, so how are you, Mel?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm all right, other than the warmthness.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I hate hot weather.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend?
Yeah, not bad.
No,
not bad. Did some stuff around the house and.
Like, what do you mean, like running around the house? Or?
Well, no, it's too hot for that.
Damn straight. What did you do?
We did put the trampoline up.
Wasn't that up last week already?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's a big deal in the house, right?
Yeah, I get that.
First
you don't put it up in the house.
That'd be cool.
It would be kind of cool.
Our ceilings aren't quite that high.
No, it could be a problem.
We have high ceilings, but not that high.
Right.
But no, we have it out for the kids, so it's fantastic. And I heard Liam's little friend that lives down the street. He's down all the time.
Is that Giuseppe or what's his name again?
Giuseppe?
Yeah, I just made that up.
Wait, Carson?
Carson or Parson?
Carson.
Okay, because Parson, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's a minister of a church or something. Probably not at that age.
But yeah, his little friend comes over, and they spend so much time on that trampoline.
Cool. And you go on it too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go on it.
No.
But, you realize how old you are when you go on a trampoline. And they get jumping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, my God, this is where all my limbs fall apart. And I break my legs. And
wow.
Yeah.
That would suck, eh?
Break your legs?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I broke my ankle, remember? That sucks.
Do you want to tell everybody how you did that?
Well, since you asked.
Yeah. Cole's notes, obviously.
I was stepping into a Jeep, and I am vertically challenged.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was... What?
I can attest.
Yeah. And when I was stepping into the Jeep, my foot was on the... What do you call it? The side step. Running board.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it slipped off the side, and I heard a big pop.
No way.
And
goes the weasel.
That was the sound of my ligaments tearing, so I didn't break it. I probably would have been better off if I broke it.
Yeah, they do heal faster. Although a broken ankle would really lick, man.
Yeah, so do ligaments. It's
no, granted.
Awful.
So you tore
awful.
them.
Tore one completely, gone.
Yeah,
I was just hanging around in my foot somewhere.
Because it went to the leg, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a couple of them just tore. I say, but
where was that? That was at Amberley?
Turkey Point.
Oh, pew.
Yeah.
Did you leave to go home right away then?
No, I did not. Because I was by myself.
What?
And it was late. Well, not by myself. I wasn't with my family.
Yeah.
I drove myself.
Yeah.
I was with my friend Evelina.
Which
Hi,
foot,
Evelina.
left or right? Sorry.
My right one.
So that's your pedal foot.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I could not drive.
Yeah.
And it was late. And we had little kids, and I was just like, you know what? Forget about it tonight. Let's just deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah,
so I
go
stayed.
Away.
I put my foot up. Yeah, it'll heal overnight.
Yeah, it'd be fine. Won't swell or anything.
And I just had lots of drinks, so I didn't feel it as much.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's good reasoning, yeah.
And it really hurt in the morning.
I'm no doubt. Did it swell up nicely, too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course it did.
Yeah, I got some good pictures of it.
Did you put any ice on it during the evening?
Yep.
Okay, that's a solid move.
There were some people there that took care of me, so. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was fun times.
Right, so that's how Mel broke her ankle, is getting into
not
a
out.
Jeep. Not out. If she didn't fall out, she fell into it. So yeah, on your trampoline, you said, like you were saying before, that sometime this before we started recording, you sometimes use a sprinkler on the trampoline.
Yeah, because it gets hot out there.
Yeah, I get it.
So we have a longer attachment that hooks over the top of the trampoline.
Right.
And just rains down on them.
Oh, like over the wall.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make it slipperier?
Yes.
Cool.
But you know what makes it even more slippery?
No.
Dish soap.
Ooh, yeah.
So I do not go in when that's happening.
Why not?
Because I will break everything else on me.
So see the earlier ankle story.
Yes. Yeah, but the boys love it. You put some, 10-year-old boys in there. They think it's a great time.
How many kids? You put in about 20 at a time. That'd be interesting, eh?
Maybe wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do
There'd
that.
definitely be some injuries.
Hey, do you have any hardwood or laminate floors in your home?
No.
Really? It's all carpeted?
Carpet and tile.
Yeah. Have you ever tried that game with putting furniture polish on hardwood floors?
No, but I remember that growing up. So
You're not standing, dude.
I know.
Especially if you got socks on.
Yeah.
You're going down.
It's a death trap.
Hard.
Death trap.
I remember we had hardwood floors in growing up in the where my brother and my bedrooms were upstairs, and before we carpeted them, the stairs were hardwood. No, we did not put furniture polish on them.
On the stairs.
But I remember coming down carrying, because when you're a teen, you've got like 84 glasses and coffee cups in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing those, and I got socks on, and about the 5th step up, my feet went out. And fortunately, I went backwards, right? Because going forward, I don't even want to think what that's all about.
Both of it sounds horrible.
Well, it was. I mean, I didn't enjoy it. But I mean, I just rode my ass down the steps. But it was still rather shocking, Yeah.
Falling down the stairs is terrifying. Like if you skip a step or miss a step,
and
you start to fall. It's like your soul leaves your body for a moment.
Yeah, because at very least your ankles and your knees are going to get buggered.
I know.
Right. I remember, in high school, we had big stairways, right? Like the stairway might have been, I don't know, 7 feet or 8 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 30 stairs, and it was the institutional marble kind of floors.
Right.
And I would grab the railing in my left hand and almost run down the stairs, but hitting every 4th step. Oh, but using the railing as my balance and to stay upright.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Now I look at doing that. I'm like, are you fucked? There's no way that I would do that.
Not
I'd
a
end
chance.
up cracking my head open and my brain oozing out.
Oh, God.
But yeah, you do stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, that's awesome.
No.
Now forget about it.
Yeah, forget
about it.
We went to, actually, you just reminded me. I don't know how I forgot this. Old brain. We went to the circus on Saturday out in Cambridge.
Circus?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I was thinking of the acrobats doing all their jumps and flips and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God.
Were there elephants there?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
That's good. Yeah. They shouldn't be there.
Well, no.
No. Did you ever think of being an acrobat?
No.
Really?
No. Definitely not.
Guess where I went Sunday?
Where did you go?
Okay, well, it was Father's Day Sunday, as you may recall. So my folks and I went out for a little country drive, which we've always done since I was a kid, and I love doing it.
Yeah.
And so we went west this time over went through Stratford and down by the river, and,
by the bay.
Through the park and all that. I just ignored that.
Where the watermelons were.
And then we went to Tavistock. Mm-hmm. You know Tavistock?
Yes, I sure do.
And went to we were going to go to this restaurant, but it was already closed at 2 in the afternoon because it was all booked for Father's Day. Okay. So I quickly did a Google search, and right across the street was this place called Mad Mash Brewery and Restaurant.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this place. I've never been, but I have heard of it.
So we went in. We were the only people in there. And I thought, okay, this doesn't bode entirely well.
Yeah.
But they had a list of probably a dozen beers.
Okay.
I think all of them were theirs. I had one, it was called 5 Ways IPA. Okay. And it's called 5 Ways because there's 5 streets that intersect right by the brewery.
Okay.
And my parents each had an elderberry lager.
Ooh.
Well, I was thought, this is going to be crap. And I'm like, it's not a sour either. And they're like, nope, we don't do any sours. So I took a sip of it. It wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't overly, didn't have a punch in the face kind of flavor level.
Yeah.
It was more of a nice nuance to the beer. It was good. My 5 Ways IPA was outstanding.
Awesome.
Fantastic. And so my father and I, we each had these the house-made, they were called jammin' burgers. It was a burger, but then it had bacon and onion jam on it. And hand-cut fries, like fresh-cut fries.
Right, yeah.
Fantastic meal. Highly recommend. So that's Mad Mash and Tavistock. But then we went to a place you hold dear in Shakespeare, Ontario. Moose ice cream.
Yeah.
I had Dockside Cappuccino ice cream.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was
sounds
pretty
exotic.
It was pretty #1, dude.
Nice.
And I even got a card this time too. So if I make 9 more visits, I get a free ice cream cone.
Then let's go.
And it wasn't that I was gonna get a double, and I saw a single, which is okay. This is another absurd thing. Single is 2 scoops.
Oh.
Right. How does the word single apply?
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, but it worked to my advantage. Well, yeah, because it was good enough size.
Huh.
And I'm like, no, I'm not getting like twice that amount. Are you high? A, I'll never finish it, and B, it'll melt all over my face.
You should have done it.
Right? And then the bees would come for me.
Oh my God. This is just getting better.
No, it's getting worse. But yeah, for those of you unaware, in the Hamlet of Shakespeare, get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Moo's ice cream. Fantastic. Fantastic place.
Very good.
Highly recommend.
Very, very good.
Right. Getting into things.
Yeah, let's do some stuff.
First, I just want to say I'm not going to mention any names at this time until such time as we do these stories, but have received a couple of story suggestions from some people.
Cool.
So they is in the works, yo.
All right.
Mel is going to start
I'm
today.
going to start.
Are you, everyone, no, let's wait. Start that over again. Are you sitting comfortably?
Me?
Then we'll begin.
Oh.
Get
I thought
on
you were
with it.
asking me if I'm sitting comfortably.
I swear.
I'm hot as...
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Take your
Ready?
hat off.
Why?
Well, that'll make you cooler.
Will it?
Strapping the heat in your head. My God, don't they teach you anything in school nowadays?
All right.
Whenever you're ready, eh?
All right. Xerxes the First,
Ooh.
also known as Xerxes the Great, was a 5th century king of the Persian Empire.
Xerxes. I
Xerxes.
like that name.
Isn't that cool?
It is cool.
I want to get a dog and name him Xerxes.
I was just going to say that.
Like a big Great Dane.
Yeah. Why would you get a Great Dane? They're from Denmark. You should get some kind of Iranian dog.
Well, I don't know what that is.
I'm going to look it up. Go
All
ahead.
right. He is best known for leading the massive invasion of Greece. He is also known for some of his more bizarre actions. Xerxes had just had victories over uprisings against Persian rule in Egypt and Babylon, and now had his sights set on Greece, keen to avenge his father's defeat at their hands. In 480 BC, his enormous army journeyed to the Dardanelles Strait, separating Asia from Europe.
That still goes from the Mediterranean into the Black Sea.
Correct.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Sorry to be that guy.
No, that's okay. Be that guy.
Okay.
To get his army quickly into Greece, Xerxes ordered the construction of a pontoon bridge across the 1.2 kilometer strait.
Really?
The bridge had about 314 boats. And they were like all tied together going across.
Yeah, yeah. They
But
still do that.
Do they?
For
Yeah.
bridges. Yeah, yeah.
But the sea does what the sea does.
Sure
So
does.
before his army was able to cross, a storm blew in and destroyed the bridge.
Bloody storms.
Well, Xerxes, he was mad.
I bet.
He was infuriated with the sea. That darn sea.
What are you going to do to it, though?
Well, you just wait.
I will.
Xerxes ordered his soldiers to punish the sea
This should be interesting.
by whipping it with chains
Shut up.
300 times.
Ooh, that'll teach it. That
Weird,
inanimate
right?
Object.
But who was going to argue with him? So they all stood on the shoreline and whipped the sea.
No.
Xerxes thought the sea was mocking him when it didn't calm down. So, because it didn't react to its whipping, so he ordered his men to poke the sea with red-hot irons.
Okay.
Take that, you dirty sea.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Shocker, still nothing. So he ordered his men to toss handcuffs into the water to symbolize the sea's submission to his authority. Xerxes was so angry that the sea just kept seeing that he ordered the decapitation of his engineers who helped him build the bridge.
Well, seas are going to see.
He's got to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Apparently they didn't whip it hard enough. Whip it
good.
good. Oh, look at that.
Synchronicity.
He wanted to rebuild the bridge, but he killed off his army of men.
Good one.
So he had to recruit new ones to build another bridge. Over 600 ships were used this time, finally bridging the gap between the continents. The crossing of the strait took Xerxes' army 7 days and 7 nights.
How big was his army?
To cross. Oh, my goodness. Tragically for Xerxes, it was all for nothing. The Persians suffered a crushing defeat, and as they retreated back to the bridge, they discovered it had been destroyed.
The sea had the last laugh. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was funny.
Don't mess with the sea.
Yeah, just whip it.
What was the guy's names again? It was Xerxes the what?
Xerxes the Great.
Sounds more like Xerxes the Dick.
The Dick. Yeah, honestly.
Well, I mean...
Yeah.
Okay, so just... So he had them whip the ocean or the sea with chains.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't placate the sea.
No.
So he had them poke it with hot red pokers.
Yes.
Which immediately would
sizzle.
Right, and make them go. So would he interpret that? We hurt the sea. It absorbed the heat.
Uh-huh.
God, this guy's an idiot. Might be Xerxes the idiot.
Yeah, maybe.
Would be a better name. I bet you he gave him his own name.
Xerxes?
The Great.
The Great.
Yeah, I bet you nobody else came up with that. He's like, one day, hey, Dave, Pete, from now on, I want to be called Xerxes the Great.
Sounds like names that would be used then.
Yeah, they came from somewhere.
Yeah.
No, that's really dumb. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way.
What?
Here is a Sarabi dog, which is also called an Iranian Mastiff.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a shepherd dog, too.
Okay.
So you could get one of those and call it Xerxes.
Okay.
And if they're not very bright, then it works out even better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Xerxes the dumb.
Xerxes the tool. Right.
Yeah. So what you got?
Well, I got stuff. I'm gonna do this one first because I think it's not scary or nobody dies or gets hurt, but it sure is absurd.
Okay.
And we were talking before about your work, and you stated how how much of a firm believer you are in keeping things corporate, you know.
In the corporate world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is back in 2021. An office employee shared a detailed post on Reddit about a private meeting he had with his manager. She had told him that the trousers he wore to work were too revealing. According to her, his crotch area was distracting and inappropriate for the office. I've had the same problem. So he says, I got called into my manager's office because of my pants, he wrote. She told me my bulge was a problem. Can you imagine saying that to somebody? So he explained that his clothing followed the business casual dress code. The trousers were tailored slacks from regular department stores like Macy's, JCPenney. This is obviously in the States.
Yeah.
He had worn them for years without issue. They were regular office trousers with a relaxed fit and no unusual tailoring, he said. The manager advised him to stop wearing those trousers and suggested he either buy looser ones or go up a size. She said I should start wearing clothes that don't show as much, that I should buy a new set of pants that are less fitted, he wrote. He declined. I'm not buying a whole new wardrobe just because someone is staring at my pants too hard, he said. Well put, dude. After the meeting, he double-checked the situation. I actually measured myself just to make sure I wasn't imagining things, he wrote. Turns out I'm very average.
Oh my goodness.
He believed the issue was not with the trousers, but with the manager's discomfort with his body. I wear what everyone else wears, he said. I just exist in it differently. He also pointed out that many of his female co-workers wore fitted tops and pencil skirts. Nobody pulls them aside to say their bodies are too visible, he wrote. Would a woman with large breasts be told to go up a shirt size just so no one feels awkward?
I was going to make that comment.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
The post, made under the username Transparent Voices, gained traction on Reddit. It received over 29,000 upvotes and thousands of comments. Many readers said they were surprised by how specific the manager's complaint had been. Some users expressed concern that the manager's request felt more like personal discomfort than a genuine dress code issue. Others noted that his refusal to comply made sense given the lack of a clear violation. She told me I couldn't wear those pants anymore, he wrote. I told her she could file that with HR if she really believed it broke any rules. Oh, but you just stand by, Mel. This gets better.
Okay.
Newsweek later reported on the story and included a statement from a former human resources professional. The expert explained that if an employee dresses within company policy and receives personal comments about their anatomy, it may fall into inappropriate workplace conduct. The employee had no plans to buy new pants. He said they fit the same as they always had, followed the dress code, and never caused problems before. He told his boss she could escalate it to HR if she believed it truly violated policy. She didn't go to HR. Instead, she doubled down. The next day, she sent him an email. Yes, I did tell you to fix your wardrobe, she wrote. This is not a request. He replied by asking her to confirm what exactly that meant. He asked if the issue applied to all his trousers, not just a few. He also wanted to know if this came from management or if it was just a personal demand. He said that if the company expected him to replace every pair of work pants, they would need to cover the cost. Her response was even more specific. She said the company could reimburse him for new pants, but only if she accompanied him.
What?
This can be done, she wrote, but I must be with you to supervise your shopping.
Oh my.
That was the moment everything shifted. In his original Reddit post, users had flooded the comments with theories. Some believed she had a personal grudge. Others were convinced she just hated him. But one suggestion had stood out even then. Someone joked that she might be attracted to him and using this as a strange excuse to assert control. Now, with her insisting on supervising him at a clothing store, he admitted that theory didn't feel so far off anymore. He gathered the full email chain, saved it to a personal account, and forwarded everything to HR. Within 2 hours, he received a call. They asked him to report to HR immediately and said he could leave his desk unless the task was urgent. Ooh, how kind. He complied. HR told him they were taking the matter seriously and advised him to take the rest of the day off. They said they would be launching a full internal review. He returned to work the next day and found that his manager was gone.
Oh.
He was told that she had been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. HR also assured him that he wouldn't face retaliation and that the company discouraged any form of professional pushback against people who came forward with complaints. Yet, don't take that as written in stone.
Yeah, no kidding.
No. HR is not there for the employees, guys. It's there to protect the company.
That's right.
Before going to HR, he had already spoken to 2 lawyers. Both agreed that what happened could qualify as harassment. but warned him the case wasn't strong enough to go to court. There wasn't a long pattern of abuse or enough evidence. They also cautioned him that approaching HR without documentation could backfire and lead to complications. Yeah, they would just pretend it didn't happen and fire your ass.
Yeah.
So he looked for evidence. He pulled up the company's online training modules and completed courses on sexual harassment and workplace conversations. In one module, there was a scenario where a male supervisor was told to refer dress code concerns to HR instead of addressing them directly. The instructions were clear. Supervisors should not intervene on their own. He figured the same rules would apply if the roles were reversed. His manager had skipped all of that. She gave him verbal instructions, repeated them in writing, and then offered to personally supervise his shopping trip. He sent the emails, the screenshots, and the training materials to HR and waited. HR responded quickly. They reviewed everything and took immediate action. In his final post, he confirmed that she had been removed from the workplace. He said she had been placed on leave before lunch. He was told the company would conduct a full investigation and that he could continue his job without concern. He ended the update in the same tone he had started it. There was no celebration, just a quiet, slightly amused observation. He said he was writing the post during his post-lunch bathroom break. I sit here now like a king on a porcelain throne, he wrote, telling you about my victory. He had kept his job. He had kept his pants. And now, everything he had, the office to himself. Like, what the hell, dude? Oh, okay.
My
Yeah,
gosh.
I'll go with you to buy your pants. Like, are you stupid?
Yeah, it sounds to me like I would go along the side of she was attracted to him, and maybe she didn't like that she was attracted to him.
That's
she
your
didn't want to be
problem.
exactly, but she was trying to rectify the situation the best way she could. I would have showed up with gray sweatpants and be like, "What do you think of now? What do you think of me now?"
So if she's attracted to him, like, you can answer this question for me. How often as women are you simply attracted, purely attracted, and only attracted
to the package?
Right.
Never.
Right.
Never.
So, but she made that her focus.
Unless they're in gray sweatpants.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Where are my gray sweatpants? So she must be a bonehead. Like,
oh, that's insane.
and to think, but for her to not realize as a manager that here's the process.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah, that's
really bizarre because it's like what you said about, females.
yeah.
Like, I get it. If you're like spilling out of your top,
Yeah,
yes,
because it's
fine.
professionalism.
But if you're dressed nice
Right.
and covered and everything else,
Right.
sometimes you can't help it.
Well, if you've got big breasts, you have big breasts.
You can't help it.
No, what are we going to do? Okay, well, we'll pay for your surgery.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Sign me up.
that's how you're built. Like,
Yeah.
like you said, as long as you're wearing a bra and not just a saggy t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, you dress professionally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he was doing that.
Yeah. You
So,
can't help it if you get a big
she's
schlong.
dumb. She's dumb. But he said he doesn't. He's average. And he said, I just exist in them differently.
Yeah.
Like, it depends how you're
Wonder if he's like a slim guy too, right? Then
Maybe, but it depends, how you dress. Like, they say, do you dress left or do you dress right? That's a tailoring term, meaning as a man, which side does your penis rest on, the left or the right of the center? Okay? Maybe he just pokes out. I don't know. Like, maybe he's a chode, Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. This is just his body, man.
Oh my God.
Grow up.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I
can't
say.
imagine. I can't imagine. Where did you say that was? I was in the States somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't actually specify where it was, but yeah, I was in the States
Makes
in
sense then.
2021.
Okay.
Yeah, so on that note, what do you
Wow.
got? What do you got? What do you got?
Okay, well, I don't have anything like that,
Well,
but,
I hope not. Be no point.
If you've ever had the misfortune of waking up with a splitting headache, an
Yes.
upset stomach,
Yes.
extreme nausea,
No.
and perhaps a head full of regrets after a night of drinking,
God, yes.
then congratulations, you've experienced a hangover. Most people might consider that punishment enough for overindulging, but not the people of the 16th century England.
Oh, God.
No, they devised another punishment for repeat offenders called the Drunkard's Cloak.
Oh, my.
This form of punishment was quite simple. Anyone found guilty of multiple drunken offenses had to wear an empty beer barrel with a hole at the top for their head and 2 holes at the sides for their arms.
No way.
Yeah way.
You've seen that.
What?
Like, I've seen that in cartoons and
Yeah,
stuff.
is that a real thing?
I thought that meant, like, you were just really poor and you couldn't afford clothes.
No.
And so you had to wear a barrel.
No. I mean, maybe that could be a thing, too, but...
Wonder if there was straps over the shoulders. It would suck otherwise. Anyway, yeah, sorry, go on.
Okay. They would then be paraded through town and shamed by the neighbors.
Oh.
Drinking culture has always been a part of England's history, but the Drunkard's Cloak marked a firm pushback against this cultural custom, and it was a punishment tailored to fit the crime. The Drunkard's Cloak also goes by another name, the Newcastle Cloak, because some historians suspect that it was first used to punish drunkards in Newcastle in northeast England. While the only record of its use in England is from Newcastle in the 1650s. Why Newcastle? Because it's the city of the reputation where it comes... because the city has a bit of a reputation when it comes to drinking.
Not surprised.
It's a bit of a cliche, but drinking culture is very, very deep-seated. Newcastle claims to be one of the first towns in England to brew beer, for example. The Newcastle hospitality was a well-known phrase in the 18th century. This meant essentially to kill someone with kindness, a.k.a. take them out for a big drinking session.
Yeah.
The truth is, people of Newcastle turned to alcohol hundreds of years ago for many of the same reasons as people today. They needed to unwind after a long, hard day's work. Of course, at this particular juncture in time, that long day's work consisted of toiling away in the coal mines and shipyards rather than sitting at an office for 8 hours. Hey, shut up.
Wow.
I'll drink if I want.
Yeah.
Sitting all day.
I'll do what I want, damn it.
Naturally, when a large number of stressed out people begin drinking heavily, there are bound to be a few or more who indulge a bit too heavily. And before long, the powers that be tried to combat this heavy drinking. Fearing the negative side effects, Parliament started searching for ways to regulate alcohol consumption across England. The first step in doing so was to pass the Ale Houses Act of 1551, which officially made drunkenness a civil offence.
Wow.
What's more, Parliament also implemented a number of strict rules to punish drunkards, especially if they were arrested more than once. Anyone arrested for drunkenness had to pay a small fine of 5 shillings, which is about 5 days' worth of work.
Damn.
But additional arrests for public intoxication led to the more severe and humiliating punishment. Enter the Drunkard's Cloak. The idea of the Drunkard's Cloak may have originated with King James I of England. Apparently, the king relished thinking up punishments that were bizarrely tailored to suit the particular crime.
Would be fun.
The Drunkard's Cloak became more popular, however, under the rule of Oliver Cromwell,
Boo.
the English soldier and politician who served as Lord High Protector of England, Scotland, and Ireland from 1653 to 1658. Cromwell disliked games, dancing, and especially drinking. He sounds like a blast.
That's why I said boo, man. I remember doing a paper on him. He's a goof. I don't like him.
No.
No, not a good dude.
Though bizarre, use of the Drunkard's Cloak quickly spread beyond England. In Germany, it was known as the Coat of Shame. In Denmark, the form of punishment was also called the Spanish Mantle.
Wow.
So there you go. If you got too drunk and disorderly out in public,
Yeah.
you had to wear a barrel.
There'd be trouble.
Yeah. And they didn't always have holes for the arms, so sometimes you just had to let it sit on top of your shoulders and walk around. And
I don't think I'd enjoy that.
I definitely wouldn't enjoy that.
Actually, yeah, I'm almost certain I would. Yeah, man.
What you got to take us home?
Well, strictly speaking, I'm already home. But I think I'll do this one.
Okay.
You can swim, right?
I can swim.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid to go in the deep end of the swimming pool?
Not afraid. But
How about, would you go in like deep water in a lake?
no.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
How about deep water in an ocean?
Nope. Hell no.
Yeah, lake, I'm not huge on it.
I'm not huge. I will do it.
I have to psychologically will myself up.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
Because I know I'm not going to drown.
No.
Right? And I know that there's nothing in the depths of the Great Lakes that are going to come up and, have at me.
Right.
Right.
Ocean, if I fell in the ocean,
not happening.
Gone. Especially if something touched my leg.
What if it was a dude?
A dude?
Yeah, who touched your leg?
In the ocean?
Yeah. Maybe a dude fell in the water at the same time you did.
Oh.
But I know what you mean. Have you ever done scuba diving?
Yes.
I have too. I didn't really like it.
I was okay with it because I could see everything, so I felt a little bit better, and it wasn't super super deep.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool.
Like I understand why people get into it. I understand why they like it and the appeal, but it ain't for me, dude. It's not for me. But I have a story here, somewhat actually very related.
Okay.
Free diving, also known as free diving, and free diving, but it's spelled differently, and one has a hyphen in it.
Okay.
Breath hold diving or skin diving.
Ooh.
Is a mode of underwater diving that relies on breath holding until resurfacing rather than the use of breathing apparatus such as scuba gear.
I don't like it.
No, it's hateful. Besides the limits of breath hold, immersion in water and exposure to high ambient pressure also have physiological effects that can limit the depths and duration possible in freediving. Examples of freediving activities are traditional fishing techniques, competitive and non-competitive freediving, competitive and non-competitive spearfishing, and freediving photography, synchronized swimming, underwater football, underwater rugby, underwater hockey, underwater target shooting, and snorkeling. There's no underwater fire prevention here. There are also a range of competitive apnea disciplines in which competitors attempt to attain great depths, times, or distances on a single breath. How long do you think you can hold your breath?
Oh, not that long.
Really? Like 5 minutes?
No, God, no. It was like 30 seconds, maybe.
Okay, I want you to sit, while I'm reading here, I want you to sit here in time.
I'm not going to do that. It's too hot.
No, that'll help you. It'll cool you down.
No.
Okay. Later we'll do it. Historically, the term freediving was also used to refer to scuba diving due to the freedom of movement compared with surface-supplied diving. Remember those old suits with the hose going down?
Yes.
That would have been the precursor to scuba diving.
Right.
So scuba diving was much more freedom, right? In ancient times, freediving without the aid of mechanical devices was the only possibility, with the exception of the occasional use of reeds and leather breathing bladders. The divers faced the same problems as divers today, such as blacking out during a breath hold. Freediving was practiced in ancient cultures to gather food, harvest resources such as sponge and pearl, reclaim sunken valuables, and to help aid military campaigns. In ancient Greece, both Plato and Homer mention the sponge as being used for bathing. The island of Kalymnos.
Oh, yeah. Been there.
The island of Kalymnos was a main center of diving for sponges. By using weights of as much as 15 kilograms, that's 33 pounds of the uncivilized world, to speed the descent, breath-holding divers would descend to depths up to 30 meters, 98 feet, to collect sponges. Harvesting of red coral was also done by divers. Would you like to do that down to 100 feet?
No.
Wouldn't enjoy that?
No.
Not even with scuba gear?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
The Mediterranean had large amounts of maritime trade. As a result of shipwrecks, particularly in the fierce winter storms, divers were often hired to salvage whatever they could from the seabed. Divers would swim down to the wreck and choose the most valuable pieces to salvage. Divers were also used in warfare. Defenses against sea vessels were often created, such as underwater barricades, and hence divers were often used to scout out the seabed when ships were approaching an enemy harbor. If barricades were found, it was divers who were used to disassemble them. During the Peloponnesian War, divers were used to get past enemy blockades to relay messages as well as supplies to allies or troops. In Japan, Ama divers began to collect pearls about 2,000 years ago. God, yeah, must be tired by now, eh? For thousands of years, most saltwater pearls were retrieved by divers working in the Indian Ocean, in areas such as the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, and in the Gulf of Mannar, between Sri Lanka and India. Pearl divers near the Philippines were also successful at harvesting large pearls, especially in the Sulu archipelago. Right. In 1940, Dottie Fraser pioneered freediving for women in the United States and also began teaching classes. It was also during this time that she began to design and sell rubber suits for the Navy divers. Now, I have a question for you, Mel.
Yes.
These pearl divers are going down to 30 meters, 100 feet. What do you think the record is for depth in freediving? So that's going down on one breath and coming back up on the same breath, obviously. There's no air supply along the way. In either direction.
I wouldn't even know.
Hazard a guess. But don't be ridiculous. It's not like it's 9 miles or something.
300 meters.
You suck. The world record for freediving was set by Herbert Nitsch of Austria. Nitsch holds the no limits record and the title of deepest man on Earth, in which the diver can make use of a weighted sled to descend as far as possible and uses an air-filled balloon or other buoyancy device to return to the surface. So they're not just kicking their feet to get it back up.
Right, okay.
But they're not getting any new air.
Right.
So Nitsch set the world record in Spetses, Greece in June 2007, when he descended to 214 meters, 702 feet, beating his own world record of 183 meters, 600 feet set the previous year. However, in 2012, Nitsch returned to the no-limit category in the waters off Greece with a project labeled Extreme 800, aiming for a depth of 244 meters or 801 feet.
Jeepers.
Following extensive training using an innovative torpedo-type sled design of very high descend and ascend speed, on 6th of June 2012, Nitsch managed to reach a depth of 253.2 meters or 831 feet. There's submarines that don't go that deep.
That's insanity.
A Guinness World Record, but 10 minutes after the dive, he began experiencing serious symptoms of decompression sickness. Nitsch temporarily fell asleep due to nitrogen narcosis during the last part of his ascent.
Oh my God.
You fall asleep?
Oh no. I hope he's tied on to something.
Well, he's tied onto this sled, which is taken up, but I don't know. Don't you start breathing when you're asleep? Like, wouldn't you start sucking in water?
You would think.
So yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
So yeah, and he woke up prior to reaching the surface. Following a planned post-dive decompression, breathing medical oxygen at a shallow depth, he signaled to his support team that he felt much weaker than normal, and his condition was assessed as critical enough to require an air transfer to a pre-alerted decompression chamber, where he received treatment. He incurred multiple brain strokes due to severe decompression sickness. He subsequently received extensive decompression treatment in Germany. The initial prognosis was that he would need home care and be unable to walk without assistance. However, through extensive rehabilitation, he made a strong recovery. He still has balance and coordination problems on land, but does not experience them underwater. He continues to deep free dive.
Goodness gracious me.
I remember watching this on some sports show, these dudes doing it, and it was just terrifying, right? Like, there's divers part of the way down to kind of monitor and assist, but you watch them go down on this, like, it's a cable that takes them down. And they just disappear into the blackness.
No.
There's nothing.
No.
Nothing that you could give me or threaten me with
No.
to make me do that.
No.
But then I watched one of these guys. He came up, and as he came to the surface, he had a heart attack. And the divers resuscitated him in the water. He went to the boat or whatever, obviously. And then he did it again in the afternoon. I'm like, are you high?
What is wrong
Dude,
with people?
Why don't you just shoot yourself? Like,
Take it.
this is my new hobby. You're shooting myself in the knee.
Oh, my Lord.
Like, whatever, dude.
What's wrong with people?
I don't know. Have you met them?
Yeah.
Have you met people?
Well,
Lots of goodies, but my God. I don't know, man. I guess do whatever you want. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I guess, but
I don't know what to do, man. I could wrestle Komodos.
that would terrify me. I don't
Wrestling a
like
Komodo?
that. No.
Oh, the free diving.
Well, that, yeah.
But
all
and
of
the
it.
Komodos.
All of it.
How about free diving with a Komodo?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good.
I'm good.
So yeah, dude, that's my story.
That gives me shivers.
Yeah, you think about it.
I'm
Next
gonna.
time you go for a swim, close your eyes and free dive in the 8-foot end.
Yeah. Jaws is there.
Imagine. I always had an idea that we should introduce whales to the Great Lakes.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. And there'd be like big boats, ships really, that would go through the lake with like big fish food shakers on them. That'd be like, to put fish in, or to put in the water for the whales to eat, like plankton.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't work. I don't know. Nobody's told me why I can't, so I think we should pursue
do it. Go to SeaWorld and rescue all those
Why would
guys.
I go to SeaWorld? That's in the States. Marine Land, you mean?
Or, sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I'm still not going. Yeah, so that's it, dude.
That's all we got.
We got big bulgy pants and
Big bulgy pants.
deep divey dives.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Wow.
And then you had drunk and disorderly and Xerxes the moron.
Mm-hmm.
Where else do I know that word from? Xerxes.
Xerxes?
Yeah, I know that from somewhere else.
Maybe it's on
Is
the
it a
show.
character? Well, that's maybe what I think.
Could be.
Anyway,
Could be. Anyway, you guys should go take a big deep dive into our socials.
but not a shallow dive. Well, if it
No,
is a
big
shallow
one.
dive, then don't dive deep.
No. If you're going to do a shallow dive, like go into where you can rate us and give us 5 stars, and then you can go.
And share us.
But then come back
Yeah, but share us.
and share us.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're on all the socials,
Yeah.
all the streamers.
Yep.
Socials and streamers.
Go check us out.
Yeah, you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
And tell people.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's it for today.
That's it.
And we're not going to Piper's tonight.
We are not.
We are not.
No.
Mel's going to go to her son's baseball game, and I'm going to make breakfast for dinner.
Ooh.
Love breakfast for dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. I hear you.
I would hope so. I'm about 4 feet away from me. Like 1.2 meters. Okay, that's it, everyone. Thanks again, and we will see you next week. So in the meantime, take care of yourselves and one another.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
The Absurd Podcast is written, produced, and recorded by Rod and Mel. Music by Audionautics.com.